Okay friends, today's update is called Oops Hub because I recently gave you an update about Operations Hub and left out one of the most exciting parts. So here we are on the data quality dashboard command center thing. To get here, remember, go to reports, data quality, get an overview of your records, your properties, your data sync, how things are doing. I showed you this, and I showed you in the property section, you can click into property insights and you can see kind of a high level overview and some highlights of what's wrong with these particular properties. Showed you this, but you can go one click deeper. Check this out. We'll just, what's a good popular property? How about first name? Probably have some data here. You can click on the property and then you get taken to this page, which I promise is cool. I haven't done any work this week apparently. All right, so you can see an overview, the name, description, object type, when it was created, last updated, field type. We can see the fill rate. We can get a list with all the records that have a value here. And then we can see what sources are updating this property on different records. And look, if it's an import, you can click and go to that particular import, or if it was a manual CRM change, or if it was an API endpoint, you can do all those things. And then here is a list, a long list for this one, all the tools that are using this property. You can go to the specific workflow or form or whatever it is that is using it. But I think this chart, the update sources, is so cool, so powerful. I don't think you've ever been able to see anything like this before. You can see specific dates things were filled in. If there's an import that like filled in a property with a whole bunch of wonky values, you'll see that here. You'll be able to get right to it. It's awesome. Okay, enterprise friends, great new update to Sandboxes. Check this out. So here I am, I got a sandbox. I'm gonna set up a sync. There's a new checkbox here, contacts and associated records. This will sync your 5,000 most recently updated contacts and their associated deals, companies, and tickets. Up to 5,000. This can only be done once, so you can't do it again later, but do it, and then you can have all these sorts of things, contacts, associations, deals, companies, tickets, inside your sandbox. Hey friends, cool new feature for HubSpot Zoom app, so check this out. Here I am in Zoom. Months ago, almost a year ago maybe, I told you about this new HubSpot app where when you're having your Zoom conversation, the attendees show up here and you can map them to the contacts inside your CRM so that the conversation gets associated with them. We've now expanded it. Look, there's this new associations tab, and look, you can add contacts, companies, deals, tickets, whatever this call is related to. You can just call, let's see, we're talking with someone at HubSpot, right? We can just associate this call with that company, and now it's there, and they'll all just be listed here. You can see some information about them. You can link out to them. This is great. Ready or not, friends, this is a big one. So yesterday or the day before, my good friend Adam Sand posted on LinkedIn saying, hey, HubSpot users, I'm trying to figure out, my sales team, they record these videos, right? And we have a thumbnail and we have a hyperlink, and it'd be really great if I could just drop that in a property somehow so we could put it in marketing emails. And I get questions like this a lot. People want to put a formatted link in a property or an image or have formatted text in one way or another. And my answer to all these questions always, sorry, no, not really, and I don't think so. But today, my answer is a great big oh yes. So check this out. Here I am creating a new property, right? And you've seen this flow before if you've created a property. We are gonna call this property Adam's Dreams Come True. And I know it's not just Adam's dreams coming true here. It's gonna be a lot of your dreams, because look what we can do. In the field type, we have a new one added to the bottom for rich text. So what does that mean? What does a rich text property look like? Well, let's find out. We'll create that, and let's go over to a contact, and we will open up this property and just see what it does. So here we are on Nikolai Tesla, who works at Tesla. We're gonna view all properties, and Adam's Dreams Come True right here. Let's just edit that. And look what we get. Look what we get. This is like our full rich text editor thing. So what if, like Adam, we want to put in a link and a thumbnail? Can we do that? Well, paste. Yes, we can do full link and thumbnail. And look, there's Adam himself. But that's not all. That's not all. What if we want to do a numbered list? Look, here's a thing and another thing. This is all in this one property. Look, we can put emojis in here, for crying out loud, guys. Like, yes, I love these emojis. And let's change the font. Why not? Why not go impact and underline it and italicize? Why not? Sky is the limit. You can do literally anything you want here. All right, friends, let's talk about open rates for marketing emails. first I want to show you a setting. So if you come into your settings and you expand tracking and analytics and go to tracking code, you're going to see this advanced tracking tab up here. Here there are a whole bunch of things you can turn on and off. What I want to draw your attention to is bot filtering. This is going to filter out activity from known internet bots, and this has an impact on your open rates. So if we look at an email, and I apologize, I don't have an email that's actually been sent to show you this, but your open rate, if you do not have bot filtering turned on, this is just simply going to be the number of open triggering activities we detected divided by the total number of sends. And so that's going to be kind of a high rounding up sort of number. If you turn on bot filtering, you're going to see that percentage come down because we're going to filter out things that we are pretty sure that we suspect are machine-related activities, just bots opening things or like an internet service provider, an email provider opening things, not an actual human opening it. What we have introduced, what is new, is this adjusted open rate thing where you can take this even a step further. So if you click on this button, you're going to see adjusted open rate here, which often will be different than your actual open rate, unless it's 0% like I have, in which case it'll be the same. But what I want to draw your attention to is this here. So remember, if you don't have bot filtering turned on, your open rate is just going to be all open, triggering, firing things divided by the unique delivered. And what we do when you turn bot filtering on is then we do unique reliable opens. Reliable opens are the ones we are pretty sure are human, or at least we don't have a reason to suspect are a machine, divided by unique delivered. So that's going to be a slightly lower, more conservative open rate. And that's what you'll see right here. Adjusted open rate is taking this additional change. It's taking those unreliable opens, the ones where we suspect it was a machine of some kind, whether it was an email provider or bot or whatever, and we are subtracting those from the equation. And so what that is going to do, it's going to take them out altogether. So your denominator here, to go back to fractions and maths and things, is going to be a little bit lower. So that's going to bump this back up. And so your open rate here, your bot filtered open rate will be kind of your most conservative estimate. This will move it up a little bit because we are taking out all the, we're not just ignoring them, we are actually removing them from the equation. Okay, friends, remember like a week ago when the data quality thing came, the fixed formatting issues option came out. It's an Ops Hub feature, and you can find like capitalization problems and go through them. Almost all of you said, "That's great, Kyle, but what if I need to do this in bulk? What if there's a lot of them? I don't want to click them one at a time." We now have something for you. So here we are on the contacts page. And this is still a beta thing. But if you go to fixed formatting issues, you come here and you're going to see the ones that we think are probably wrong, right? And now up in the top right corner, notice this automation option. So it's not, rather than doing these in bulk, what we're going to do is we're going to enable you to put some rules in place, right? So like we always want first name, the first letter of the first name capitalized, right? Yep. And we always want the first name of the last name capitalized. Yep. And we always want to make email lowercase. Sure, why not? And combine fields. If when first name fields includes both first name and last name, remove the last name. Sure, that sounds good. That's a nice tidy thing to do. Spacing and punctuation. We're going to remove extra spaces and random punctuation from a bunch of different fields. Sure, we will turn all these rules on. And then look what happens. We save it. And now, we've turned on 7 automations. 4 records were added. 7 automations on, right? We can see that right here. We can come in. We can see what's happening. And if we come over here, we can see what was updated, what the automation has been doing. So it's always accountable to you. It's only you can keep track of what's going on here. All right, enterprise friends, you now have field level view permissions. So for a while, you've been able to restrict who could edit specific properties, individual fields. Now you can restrict who can even see them. So check this out. Here I am on my properties page, and I happen to have this super secret property I don't want very many people to be able to view. It's got very sensitive information, you guys. So we're gonna assign it to users and teams, and this has existed for a while. We can assign it to users and teams, and we used to be able to say view and edit or view only, but now we have a no access option. So if we set it to no action for these teams, if these people try to view it, they will just not see it. They will see a little like eyeball icon with a slash through it saying no views for you. You cannot access this information. Hey friends, couple super cool updates to call transcription recording, conversation intelligence stuff. So here's the first one. Here I am on the calls page, which is just if you go contacts, calls, or you can get here through the object selector thing. And historically, whether you've been watching a call here in the sidebar or going into the full screen experience, this was pretty much as big as the video got. And if you're trying to watch any sort of screen share or anything like that, it's really tiny. Well, we now have this full screen experience. So now you can see your salespeople up close and personal. Awesome. So whether you're using the professional version or enterprise version of this, you now have full screen call review. The other thing is, and I'm super excited about this, for those of you on the enterprise version of Conversation Intelligence, where you can set up track terms, those are now available inside workflows. So if we set up triggers here and we go to activity properties, we'll just search for track terms. And there it is under the calls, right? And if you've set up track terms, they are here. So if this is a contact-based workflow, is associated with a call where any of these track terms came up on the call, now you can trigger automation based on that. You can assign tasks to people to follow up. You can assign it to a manager to review. You can send automated emails to people. You can trigger things based on what was talked about in a call. Okay, US-based friends, another payments update for you too, actually. First is you can now set your default payment method. So check it out. Here I am on the payment setting page, which is tucked way down here on the payments page. And there's this general tab. And you can now choose, HubSpot supports both credit, debit card payments and ACH, the bank transfer, like e-check payments. You can uncheck these. If you don't want to accept one or the other, you can turn them off. You have to have at least one selected, but you can now choose what payment types you're going to select. So it's a minor thing, but it's also kind of a big thing. The other thing, which I can't really show visually, is when someone makes an ACH payment or whatever and it fails, they get an email saying, hey, your payment failed. Up till now, that's all it did. Now, the email says your payment failed. Here's a link to update your payment information. So this is especially important if you have recurring charges happening. If someone's payment information changes, there's not been a way for them to update that, but now there is. So they'll get that email, they can click, they can put in their new payment information, they can go back to paying you on a recurring basis. Hey friends, my beloved commenting mode has now made it to dashboard. So check it out. Here I am just on a sales dashboard, and we now have this commenting button. And we can go to the comments and see them all here, and we're now in commenting mode. If I want to comment on a specific report on this dashboard or on any of the other things I might embed on a dashboard, I can totally do that now. This one came out of nowhere, friends. I was not expecting it, and apparently neither was Max Cohen, so we found out a few days ago. But you can now have delays in a workflow that center on a specific date or date property. So check this out. Here I am creating a workflow, and this is for people who register for a particular event. And it would be really great if I could send them a registration email right away, but then delay until a day or two before the event and send them a reminder email, right? That has typically previously required a special type of workflow, contacts only. You could do a date-based workflow. Now for any object that you can enroll in a workflow, we have this delay until a date action. And check this out, it's so cool. You can put in a specific date, right? So if you're creating this for a specific event, you could put the event date and time in here that you want to do things. Or you could do a contact date property. So if you have a property that is storing the date of the event, then you can do on that date at a specific time, or look at this is my favorite part, before date. Well, 2 days before, 1 day before, at a certain time, we're gonna remind them about this event. Or after a date, 1 day after, 2 days after, we're gonna say, hey, the event is over, here's the recording or whatever. So cool, so powerful. And see this pro tip down here? Oh, hold on, let's go back to calendar date and let's just choose date in the future. And that time, right? What we're gonna do here, if a contact reaches this delay after the date, you can add a branch to send this contact to a different set of actions. What? Let's hit save and see what happens. So there's our delay, and look, a value equals branch based on the outcome of this delay. So if they, if it's on the date assigned or if it's after assigned date, we can have different actions so nobody gets left out. Hey friends, I think we've seen over and over again that it's the little updates that combine together to make the really big impacts in HubSpot. Here's one for you on the contact timeline. So check this out. Here I am looking at a contact, Josh Groban here. Let's say, I had a locked call with him, right? And here are the notes I took. Let's say you want to discuss this with somebody for some reason. There's some, you're collaborating, you're reviewing, you're coaching, you're doing whatever. It can be really hard in the context of a timeline to call someone's attention to a particular activity, right? To ask them to review. We've had the ability to add comments and things, and you can add threads here and mention each other. That's great. But if you just want someone to take a look at this, we have now added the option under this actions menu to copy a link directly to this activity. So let's see what happens. I'm going to create a new tab here. And if I just drop in this URL, right, the engagement ID here, what do we get? We get the timeline with just that call on it. It's not like highlighted, it's not auto scrolling to, you cannot miss this, right? You send this link to someone, as long as they can log into your account, they're gonna be able to see it. And then if I wanna get back to the whole timeline, there's this back to timeline button here. Okay friends, the ability for you to opt yourself into betas is now fully live to everyone. You all have it now, and there's a beta in there you might wanna check out. So take a look at this. Here I am in the product updates tab, which you find under here, under product updates, and then there's this early access section. If you click on betas, if you are an admin, you can opt yourself or your entire account into betas, and one I recently enrolled myself in is this one. Workflow action to delete contacts. What could that possibly do? Well, check it out. If we go to workflows here, I'm gonna edit this workflow right here, which I think is basically empty. And we can, look, let's just search for delete contact. Yeah, there's an action. No configurations. It'll just, whoever gets enrolled gets deleted. And you could, of course, add branching logic here. You should be pretty cautious about how you use this, but we are giving you the ability to automatically delete contacts using a workflow. Hey friends, huge leap forward in the world of custom objects. So check this out. Here I am in the custom objects section of my settings, and you can see the custom objects I've created here. Check out this new button, Create Custom Object. Historically, in order to define a new custom object, you've had to use API calls, and they haven't been complicated, but they're scary for someone like me who does not do API stuff. Look, there's now a form, and let's say I want to create a custom object called a num-num, and the plural is going to be num-nums, and the name is going to be, this is the primary display property, such as pet name. I love that we have examples here. So pets, pet name. Yeah, we'll just call this a name and make it a single line text. And then how about secondary display? We'll call that flavor. And we'll also just make that single line text. Create. And done. I now have num-nums created. Here it is. Ta-da! And, we've seen previously associations can now be created in the UI too. So num-nums obviously are going to be associated with pets. A pet can have a num-num. And now, ta-da, we have created that association. We could create association labels, but I want to show you this other new thing. Totally new, net new real estate data model overview. What could that be? Well, let's click on it. And look, here are all my objects laid out visually with lines connecting them. And we can zoom in and out and we can see, pets can be associated. And num-nums can be associated to pets. Pets can be associated to contacts and num-nums. And all of my things are here. We can turn them on and off, right? If we want to just see, what they look like. This is going to be so helpful in order for you to see how things are actually connected together visually without having to sort through it anywhere else. Hey, you can now import parent-child relationships for companies. You can do it through an import. Check this out. So here I am on a spreadsheet, and we are importing these sub-brands. They all have their own domains, but they all belong to Marriott. And I just created this Marriott record here. And if we come out of full screen real quick, we can grab this ID right there in the URL. Great. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drop that in all of these spots right here. So paste. And we will save that. And now we can import it. And check out what's gonna happen here. We'll just go to import real quick. And we're gonna start with an import from a file on my computer. And we're gonna do one file, and it's gonna be one object, and it's gonna be companies. And we're gonna choose a file right there. Great. And those got mapped. And what we're gonna do here is parent company. And look at this, see? These just look like numbers. Wait for it. It's validated. It checked to make sure it's right. And if we click on this, we're gonna get this thing here and we can see, yep, that's right. So now if we come back over here real quick, we'll just go through the import. Wait for those records. Ta-da! Now we'll go back to full screen for this. Wait for it. Are you ready? Okay, no child companies over here, right? Ta-da! We got child companies. This is now live and now exists inside the importer. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. Friends, we've completed the swing on the webhooks action inside workflows, and you can now add dynamic values. So check this out. Here I am creating a workflow, and if I add our send a webhook action, You have two methods here. Get is what we added most recently, and when I added this a few months ago, y'all were like, that's great, but it would be really much better if we could put dynamic values in. And now you totally can. So we enter, the webhook URL in here, app.myapp. Typing is hard.com, and then if you want to send properties, you totally can. Postal code, put that in there. How about first name, or if you if you had like a external app ID in here somewhere, you could add that. And what you're going to see over here are the internal values that exist in HubSpot. But if you need to change those to make them match what is in my app here, you can totally edit them here. It doesn't change their internal value permanently, it's just for this call. And then you can test them and choose what values you want to send into the workflow as normal. Along with this update, we've also had the ability in post requests. Post used to just send the whole record, whatever it was. You can still do that, that's still the default, or if you want to choose specific properties that you're going to post, you can do that now too. Hey friends, got an update for you about HubDB, which means I have to use HubDB. It's gonna be fine. Here we go. Here we are in HubDB, and I made a couple of tables that reference each other. We've got authors, and notice authors has ID, name, and image, and then we have books. First thing I want to show you is that under the actions, you can now show dependents. So if this is used somewhere like on a website page or something, this will open up and it'll say how many website pages it is used on. I am not quite that savvy at HubDB yet, so mine are all empty, but you naturally will have a long list there. The other thing I want to show you is the way that image columns are referenced. You saw there was an author image in that other table. Used to be, if you clicked on this, it was just like a text search of gobbledygook, and like all your images, if they're the same size, might look exactly the same. But now, ta-da, we can actually see the images. And if we want to look through and find the picture of Harper Lee, we can look through and find the picture of Harper Lee, and that's going to be so much easier now. Hey friends, do you remember a few weeks ago, months ago, I don't remember, we came out with this ability to enforce unique values inside of properties. And I was all excited about it, and you were all excited about it, and then several of you checked it out and were less excited because you're like, oh, Kyle, I thought this was going to be like actual property validations. I was like, oh yeah, we don't really have that. Well, now we have actual property validations, you guys. Check it out. So here I am creating a company property, and we'll just call this validate me, Captain. How about that? We will make this a single line text property. And if we go next, look, rules. And here's this require unique values for property, which we can do. And, using in forms and search you're used to. But look, you can set a minimum number of characters. You can set a maximum number of characters. You can restrict it to just numeric values. You can say we don't allow special characters here. So if this single line text is like some sort of an ID number or a serial number or something, and it's always going to be exactly 10 characters, you can make it exactly 10 characters, and we're not going to allow special characters, but we will allow letters because it might be a mix of letters and numbers, right? Right, great. So look, or what if we do, the other thing this works with is number values. If we do a number value, look, slightly different value. You can set a minimum value and a maximum value. So this isn't number of digits, this is like actual numeric amount. Or you can limit the number of decimal places if that's important. If this is like currency or whatever reason you want to limit decimal places, you can do that. Hey friends, another small but mighty change, and this one is on the deal board. So check it out. Here I am on the deal board. And you can do a lot of things on the deal board. It's really great, drag and drop, and we've had a lot of ways for you to customize the way it looks. But for multi-select, if you ever wanted to bulk edit deals, I always told people, well, you got to go over to this page, right? And then you have the checkboxes, and you can then assign or edit or delete or create tasks or whatever it is you want to do. Well, people got tired of changing back and forth, and you all told us that. And so look, checkboxes on the board view. Or if we want to select all of them in this pipeline, yeah, you can do that. And then you can assign, edit, delete, create tasks, whatever it is you need to do to get done. Hey friends, a few days ago I told you about some HubDB updates. And a friend of mine was like, that's great, but what I've always wanted in HubDB was drag and drop rearrangement of rows. So now we have drag and drop rearrangement of rows. Check it out. Here I am in my HubDB table. And if I mouse over things, look, we got this hand. And yeah, we can let's move that down. Let's move that up. Why not? And another cool thing we've added, look, this little drop-down menu you see here, we now have a preview button. So if you want to see what this particular row will look like, if you're adding a draft row, you can see. And I still have no idea how to build a website, so mine looks terrible, but better put some more effort into it before I publish it. These are now both available in that beta management thing. There are two separate betas in there. You'll see HubDB. Opt into them, try them out. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay friends, kind of a subtle behind the scenes update to the enterprise version of Playbooks. So this won't affect a lot of you, but I want to make sure you're clear on it so nobody gets confused. Here I am on a deal. Doesn't matter that I'm on a deal, but I happen to have a playbook that updates deal properties. If you have an enterprise version of Sales Hub, you can connect the interactive elements of your playbooks to CRM properties. So this when did this demo happen is connected to my date of demo property. And if I put something in here, these ones are also, all of these are connected to properties, right? And I update these as I'm talking to a person. If I close this, they are still there. They are still saved. But the subtle change we're making is these will not push to your CRM properties until you actually log it as an engagement. So you can save them, you can come back to them, you can leave them. The playbook will not forget what you put here, but the date of demo property, for example, is going to remain blank until I hit log call. And now those properties all got updated. If we go to all properties here, we can see date of demo, and date of second meeting, both of those. These are the values I just put in, but those did not update until I click save. Hey friends, home sweet home. I'm back in Boston, just in time for Inbound, which is coming up very soon. Gonna be there, excited to see all of you who are gonna be there. Today I have a couple of quick updates to tell you about lists. So check this out. Here I am editing a list I've already created. And if you go to actions, you can edit the columns here. And historically, you edit the columns on one list and that would apply to all your lists. Now, with this little checkbox, you can decide whether you want that to be the case or not. So if you want all of your lists to have the same columns, you should edit your columns here, add, remove things, and check this box. If you want it to just apply to this particular list, leave that checkbox unchecked and then hit save, just giving you a little more control over how things work here. Then we've also changed the behavior of and filtering. So if we add a new filter here, we'll just add a new filtered group here. Let's say I'm filtering contacts here. Let's look at deals. Let's say we want contacts whose deal amount is let's say we want them to have a small deal and a large deal. So let's say is less than $1,000. Oops, $1,000. And let's add an and here. We'll do a separate and deal amount is more than how about $10,000? So we want them to have a big deal and a little deal. Look, these are not getting combined together into a single filter. They are staying separate even though they're using the same property. It used to be that if you were doing and filtering, both of these would get smushed together into one group here, and then you would have a problem because they would have to have a single deal that was both less than $1,000 and more than $10,000, which is impossible. Now they have to have two deals, right? One of which is less than $1,000 and one of which is greater than $10,000, or more than one deal of each of those sizes. Anyway, both of these changes are now live in the list tool. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions.